to another edition of the Suffolk Insider, brought to you by the Department of Communication, Journalism, and Media and Studio 73. I'm your co-anchor, Will Woodring.
And I'm Di Pajeski. Let's start with the top headlines from the Suffolk Journal. Starting with the news section, officials say a woman in the Suffolk University community was sexually assaulted near campus early Sunday morning. Police have not said if the suspect has been apprehended. Boston police said that the woman was forcibly brought from the area of Bromfield Street to the public garden by an unknown suspect where she was assaulted. The woman's age and relation to the Suffolk community have not been released at the time the Journal reported this story. The Boston Police Sexual Assault Unit is investigating the incident. The suspect was described as an unknown male, and images of the suspect shared by Boston Police showed him in black outerwear, jeans, a face mask, and what appears to be a Boston Red Sox baseball cap. If you have any information regarding the incident or can identify the suspect, please report anonymous tips to BPD detectives directly at 617-343-4400.
Suffolk University junior Noah Trofimov started a chapter of the Paper Bag Mask Foundation at Suffolk to offer students coping mechanisms for the stress and anxiety they face as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The club plans to host classes and workshops based on movement, creativity, and meditation through exercise, writing, art, and breathwork, as well as fundraising for nonprofits in the greater Boston area. If you're interested, check out their Instagram page, papermask.co. What's new at SGA, Di?
Well, Will, the Student Government Association unanimously passed a resolution to implement a pass-fail option for grading in the fall 2020 semester, a measure designed to help Suffolk students facing difficulties due to online learning. The resolution will soon be sent to the administration, who will then decide if pass-fail is to be instituted into the university curriculum. And now for the COVID Watch segment. Suffolk announced on November 4th that the university will not be holding in-person classes after Thanksgiving due to rising national cases. Students will be allowed to stay in the residence hall if they file a petition with Residence Life Office. However, all students leaving the Massachusetts area for Thanksgiving and coming back will be placed under a 14-day quarantine until 2 negative test results within 3 days of each other. Residential students will be allowed to stay on campus for the remaining of the semester, which includes Thanksgiving break. Students can also choose to leave their dorm when they go home over break and remain at home. Students that travel off campus with the intent to return after break must quarantine for 14 days or until they receive 2 negative COVID tests taken 3 days apart. Suffolk University saw a total of 13 new COVID cases from the week of November 1st, a sharp increase compared to the previous week, where Suffolk reported only 2 positive results. The 13 positive results brought the university's total number of COVID-19 cases to 71 for the semester. What's on the Writer's Corner this week, bro?
We're having a special edition of the Writer's Corner today, thanks to the great coverage from the politics section. On November 7th, Joe Biden was declared President-elect of the United States. After 5 days of vote counting, Biden won the election with 284 Electoral College votes after multiple media outlets called Pennsylvania. The last state to flip from 2016 from red to blue was Pennsylvania, the state that ultimately gave Biden the victory over President Donald Trump that morning. Biden also flipped Michigan, Wisconsin, and Arizona in 2020. Biden first ran for president in 1988, but his campaign was cut short due to a controversy around plagiarism of speeches. In 2008, he ran for president once again, but dropped out after the Iowa caucus before eventually joining Barack Obama's ticket as vice president, a position he would hold for the next 8 years. Biden's running mate, California Senator Kamala Harris, followed the same pattern during the primaries. Harris first ran as a rival for the presidency before dropping out in December 2019. Kamala Harris was elected as the first woman vice president in American history. Harris will also be the first Black and South Asian American person to hold the office. Biden pulled ahead in Georgia late on November 5th, a state which had not been won by a Democrat since 1992, as the count of mail-in votes continued. It was announced that same day that Georgia would hold a recount due to the slim margin of victory for Joe Biden. Trump is still fighting election results and is yet to concede the election on the morning of November 4th, just hours after the polls closed across the country. Trump took the stage at the White House, claiming he already won the election. This premature claim confirmed the fears of many Democrats that the Trump campaign would announce a premature victory in an attempt to cast doubt over the election results. Despite Biden being declared as the winner, Trump has continued to make false claims about the legitimacy of the election. In a statement published on the Trump campaign's website, he said, "We all know why Joe Biden is rushing to falsely pose as the winner and why his media allies are trying so hard to help him. They don't want the truth to be exposed." Trump's claims of election illegitimacy are largely based on mail-in voting, which has been expanded due to COVID-19. Since last spring, Trump has posted more than 70 tweets against mail-in voting, mostly claiming it leads to increased voter fraud. However, there is no evidence that there is any danger associated with it. According to a study by the Brennan Center, voter fraud incident rates in the United States average around 0.0003% and 0.0025%. Trump and his campaign moved to file lawsuits in multiple states before the race was even called. According to the Associated Press, lawsuits from the Trump campaign were quickly dismissed by judges in Michigan and Georgia. President-elect Biden has continued to work his campaign message of unity in the wake of the election after being declared the winner. He spoke in his home state of Delaware about the importance of healing as a nation. With the campaign over, it's time to put the anger and harsh rhetoric behind us and come together as a nation, he said. It's time for America to unite and to heal. We are the United States of America, and there is nothing we can't do if we do it together. I would like to thank politics editor James Bartlett and staff writer Haley Campbell for their articles on election results. For full election coverage, please visit the Suffolk Journal website.
Great work, James and Haley. Back to our headlines. In world news, England has entered a second lockdown after a surge in COVID-19 deaths have spiked 43% across Europe. According to CNN, new restrictions took effect on November 6th. The new lockdown mandates that all non-essential businesses, including bars and restaurants, must close until December 2nd.
In a historic election, citizens of Chile have voted to replace their constitution after a turbulent year of protests against economic and social inequality across the country. Chile's current constitution, which was written in 1980 by dictator Augusto Pinochet, has been at the core of these protests. According to NPR, nearly 80% of citizens voted in favor of the new constitution.
In sports, former Celtics player, coach, and broadcaster Tommy Heinsohn died at the age of 86 on Tuesday, November 10th. The Boston Celtics released a statement describing Tommy as the embodiment of Celtic pride. In his 64 years involved with the team, Heinsohn is the only player in team history to be involved with all 17 championships. He will be forever remembered as a Celtics legend, and his presence around the team will be missed. Rest in peace, Mr. Celtic.
In arts and culture, 6 panelists came together to discuss racism, public health, contemporary art, and how they can be tied together at an October 29th event hosted by the Institute of Contemporary Art. The ICA hosted this live feed panel to emphasize 2 public health crises, COVID-19 and racism. Racism has been declared a public health crisis by 25 out of 50 states, opening up a necessary discussion.
Starlight Square, a recently developed community space built from a parking lot within Central Square in Cambridge, has been making its mark on Greater Boston's small businesses and arts industry. Starlight Square has brought different cultures of space to have a sense of normalcy through political demonstrations in the form of art and youth groups. For more information on performances, visit www.starlightsquare.org. And that's all we have for you for this edition of the Suffolk Insider.
Visit the Suffolk Journal website or the Studio 73 YouTube channel for more content.